As the new year begins and cold weather sets in, make sure your home stays warm and reliable with an incredible deal from Premier Heating and Air. Get $500 instant rebate on a standard efficiency unit, $1,000 on a higher efficiency model, and $1,500 instant rebate on the highest efficiency models. Get a heat system checkup for only $49. So don't drop the ball on your heating and air system. Experience a Premier difference today. Log on to dublin.premierishere.com or call 478-300-2633. Restrictions may apply, cannot be combined with other offers, and this expires 1/31/2026. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
Thank you guys for letting me be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Ron, and TV 35, obviously, Premier Air, for hosting the event. Dinner was wonderful, so thank you for the folks that prepared that. I appreciate it. Thank you to Chamber of Commerce, obviously letting us have the space. And this is a pretty cool event, so this is awesome. You need to say thank you to the community because it's already been highlighted, but folks were out there voting for you guys, and I'm going to speak to the players mostly tonight. But that's pretty cool to have the community involved in this. We didn't have it when I was going through, or I didn't get invited, so I don't know. But thank y'all. I will say, as I was driving over here, my wife called me, and I was just making sure there was no fires to fight with the kids at home. And she said, "Hey, you need to make sure you tell those boys that they need to marry right, because you wouldn't have anything to talk about tonight if it wasn't for me." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll make sure that they know you need to marry a good woman and take care of her." So to my wife, I am very grateful. So, but seriously, congratulations to you guys. Y'all are the all-stars. This is what the night's about. And your hard work, your talent, your dedication to your team and to the sport is being highlighted tonight, so enjoy it. And so, again, from a guy who's been, I wish I was in your shoes and in your seats back then, but for all intents and purposes, I was. I know what it takes to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, so congratulations to you guys. It is an honor. You need to recognize that you're a leader, that you're a leader in your community. You have a sphere of influence. That's going to only continue to grow. And you need to recognize the responsibility that comes with leadership, and you need to be a good steward. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I will try to sprinkle in a little bit of preaching if you let me. But Luke 12:48 says, "From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded." And so I think it's important for us to recognize, hey, everybody in this room's been given a gift. And now it's up to you to do something with it. And so what I want to talk to you about tonight are three things. I want to talk to you about identity, I want to talk to you about process, and I want to talk to you about relationships. All right, first and foremost, let's talk about identity. And I know this is like, there's awesome highlights competing with a talk, so this is fun for me to watch as well as you, I'm sure. And this is a good reflection on what you got there, what got you there to make these plays. I hope you see the hard work and the all-stars that are on this screen. I hope this resonates a little bit with you guys and what I'm about to share. Your identity. You got to know who you are. It's not a perception. It's not an expectation. And again, how I would describe it, it's the rock on which you stand. That is first and foremost for how you approach life, is you knowing who you are is going to give you some stability, and it's going to allow you to make a lot better decisions than chasing fleeting passions or desires. Spence alluded to a little bit of my background, but let me tell you guys just a little bit about myself to kind of give you some perspective on where I was and what I did. Everything I'm going to say that seems, I guess it's hard for me to say because it seems a little bit, I'm going to say, like I'm bragging about myself or maybe pride. I'm not trying to say that. I say this with all humility because I think there's a message at the end, and it ain't about being on top. And hopefully you'll hear that. But I was where you were. I had all the accolades and I had all the expectations. I was an all-star in football and baseball. I had Division I offers in football. I had Division I offers in baseball. And so I was making a decision to go to the Air Force Academy to play football, or I was making a decision to go to the University of Georgia to play baseball. So for all intents and purposes, I was a pretty good high school athlete. So I left Dublin, and I had a lot of expectations leaving Dublin. I had a lot of awards. I had a state championship. I had all the all-state stuff. And I was now going out into the real world, as I'd call it. Well, I show up to the Air Force Academy, and I've been recruited. They have a senior who's coming in for a senior year. I'm going to be a freshman. Great opportunity to learn. He's graduating, and now hopefully I'm going to walk into a starting role as a Division I quarterback my sophomore year for a program that's playing all the big schools out there and competing in a big conference. So when I got to my sophomore year, fall ball rolled around, and we're rolling in the first couple of weeks of the season. And guess what? Reality wasn't that I was the starting quarterback on a Division I football team. Reality hit me in the face and said, what defines who you are? Is it being the starting quarterback? Is it this position or this expectation that you left with? Or is it being grounded in Christ and having some confidence in knowing who you are and not being defined by your circumstances or the accolades or the people around you that are telling you? I'll challenge you with this. Hopefully being an all-star right now isn't what defines who you are. Hopefully you got a lot more that you know that what you're about, and that's very important. And we're going to talk a little bit more about it. The biggest thing that I would say I learned in that is to rest and embrace my identity and my value, like I said, about being loved by Christ, being sacrificed for, and ultimately being a child of God. That gives you a lot of freedom. It gives you a lot of stability. You don't have to be the guy. Life's not fragile. All it takes is one play for you to blow your ACL, and it's over. And I got a lot of buddies who that happened to. It's a brutal reality of the sport that we play, is it can all be highs, and then one injury, it's ripped away from you. And you're going to have a crisis of identity, is what I like to call it, but you're going to have a crisis of faith. And you got to make a decision of what defines who you are. And so I would just say, probably hadn't hit you yet, but it's going to. At some point in life, you're going to be hit with the reality that you did not meet the expectations. And even if you did meet the expectations, which we'll talk about in a second, that can't define who you are. I'm just reminded of the verse Matthew 11:28. I just want to share it with you guys real quick. And this is based on the idea of it's exhausting to chase an expectation. It's exhausting to try to be somebody and to be defined by something external. And Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Verse 30 continues, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I'm guessing many of you have heard that verse, but you may not be able to relate to it just yet, but at some point in your life you will in the near future. And I hope you remember, like, hey, what is my identity grounded in? I don't want us to just focus on falling short, because I feel like that was my football career of my expectations that I had when I walked into a D1 football program, was like I didn't reach what I had hoped for. So I'm going to shift a little bit and transition to some of the Air Force world that I lived in, and I'm assuming not many of you have any clue about what I did until Spence just shared. This is a good example of like testing your identity. Did anybody know who I was walking into tonight? Players. I love it. just recognize how fleeting it is. Hey, in 10, 15 years, ain't nobody going to know who you are either. But I will share a little bit of my background as a fighter pilot. You heard a little bit of it and just what it was. And I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned that I learned in sports. And I'll share this. I give so much credit to Coach Holmes for shaping and developing me, for creating a lot of discipline in my life. And I was thinking about it at one point. You know, I'm blessed to have an incredible dad. But when you look at the time you're spent during your high school days, you're spending more time with your coaches than a lot of your family. And it's just a testament to the coaches that are in here of the impact that you guys have on these kids' lives. And so I'm forever appreciative of the shaping and the molding that I enjoyed that helped me far beyond just going and trying to play football. I'll say, being a fighter pilot, me and several of my football buddies, so my fullback and my receiver, we sat around, I think it was our junior year of college, and said, hey, what do we want to do after school? And we said, well, crap, let's throw our name in the hat and go fly planes. It wasn't jets, it was just, let's go fly. And we said, all right, let's do it. There's a lot of years of commitment associated with it, but we jumped off, we took that leap of faith, and we said, let's see where it leads. And then we went into pilot training, and then we just got to compete. And it served us extremely well to have come out of a football environment or sports where you're being critical of yourself, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. You're watching film. You're getting better every day. You're not just sitting there praising, oh, I did a real good job. That serves you well in all of life. And that process served us well, and we also had no fear of failure because we had no expectations. So we just went out there and we competed. Well, it went pretty well for us, and I ended up flying F-16s. My best friend, who was a receiver on the football team, flew F-15s, and my fullback flew F-16s with me. And then we were assigned a fighter squadron in Korea together, having a lot of fun and being probably stupid, and we didn't know it. But just to highlight this, when we got our wings and got our jets, the statistic was there's more folks that enter the NBA than fly fighter jets. And I'm not telling you that because I'm special. I'm telling you that to have some perspective, because y'all know a lot more about the NBA than you do about fighter jets. With that, it went well, but it was all because I had a process in place that we're going to talk about in a little bit, of discipline, of pursuing my best, of enjoying the moment, and being surrounded by the people that had my best interests and that were pouring into me. I was an instructor, and then I was invited to go to the weapons school. So just again, for you guys to understand what the weapons school is, if you have a squadron of 50 guys, you may have 10 instructor pilots in there. So you're talking about the top 10 guys in a squadron flying jets. Out of that, around the world, in my class there were 7 of us. So 7 of us from around the world went to a school where you're trained to basically leave that in 6 months as the best of the best. The Department of Defense has nothing bigger than weapons school to prepare us as a nation for the next war. It's the largest training exercises that happen in the country. The Marines, the Navy, the Army, and the Air Force are all fighting together. I just want to have some perspective on what that looks like. After I graduated that, I was sent to Korea as a captain, so I'm late 20s, early 30s, and now I have the responsibility to ensure that the folks that I'm leading as the chief instructor of a squadron are survivable and lethal. And we're talking about life and death. Not only are we talking about training and executing, but what I had the opportunity to do was basically craft some of our tactical war plans if the war kicked off in North Korea. And I was thinking about that a little bit, how to relate it, and I was thinking about the coaches. Imagine every 2-point play you call in your career, somebody lives and somebody dies. That's a little bit more of a decision where you want to be ultimately prepared to give your guys the best shot as possible to, in our case, to be survivable and to be lethal. And there's a lot of people depending on it, like folks like Spence that are the Marines living in the mud. But I tell you that to provide perspective of what a process allowed me to do with freedom to compete. After that, I was invited back to teach at the weapons school, and so now I'm back instructing a handful of guys, about a dozen guys a year that come through, and we're going to send out across the world to be in charge of the survivability and lethality of our F-16 squadrons. There was about a dozen of us. I'm going to ask this, and maybe this is for my dad's sake because he loves it. Have any of you guys seen the movie Top Gun 2? A couple hands back there. All right, guys, you guys got to watch some better movies. Netflix, I don't know what y'all are into, but not that that's like a great example of what it's about, but they do have some scenes in there that my dad called me after he watched that, and he said, "That's all make-believe. That's crazy, right? They're flying at 100 feet, and they got all these missiles, and they're dropping bombs. They're trying to laser them in. That's all fake, right?" And I laughed, and I said, "They actually did a pretty good job in the movie of one group of people that can actually do that, and that's the weapons school's instructors." And so we wouldn't take students out, but at that level, there was only about a dozen of us, and I'm talking in our country, that are qualified to train at 100 feet on that range with multiple mountain ranges with live bombs. And we got to do it. And that was a unique experience. That is the highest point that you could reach in the tactical world of flying fighter jets. If you're teaching at the weapons school, you've made it. You're in the club. In my squadron, when Ukraine kicked off, they pulled guys, my buddy who was next to me, out, and he was in Europe doing the war for Ukraine, if you will, and the response there. That's who gets pulled. And so that's the tactical top. I tell you all that, again, not to brag, but to give you some perspective on where I was. A lot of that is due to the process that was built in high school football and college football. But you could imagine that there's some challenges with your ego and pride when you're on top. So if you're at the NBA and now you're the all-star and you're hitting those all-star marks every year, it's hard to walk away. But one of the blessings that I had is I had a crisis of faith with my football career as a sophomore, and knowing who I was allowed me to walk away and pursue something else in life, even though it was going against the ego and the expectations. And even some of my buddies think I was crazy to walk away from what we were doing and the opportunities that we had, but it didn't define who I was. And I'm telling you that because this world will not satisfy. You can't be the best and on top of whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's football, it's your sport, it doesn't matter if it's business and you make all the money in the world. It won't satisfy. Being grounded and knowing who you are and having relationships that's lasting, that's going to bring a little bit more contentment. The one thing that I think about is when we are able to recognize that the world will not satisfy, we're taking one more step towards having a little bit more peace. And I think that's important for you to recognize. You may not understand it yet, but you will. All right, I talked about identity. I promise this is going to get quicker. The second thing I want to talk to is the process, which I've mentioned a little bit before. It's so important to embrace the process that you have to execute every day to become your best. That's really important because that's what it's about. And honestly, that's the heart of the matter. You need to have joy in embracing the process. You can't get ahead of yourself and look towards the game, look towards next week, because how fast did this season fly by for you guys? Man, is it crazy? Season's gone. You ain't got another game left. It flies by. So embrace the process, be fully present. One of the saying that I like to remind myself of is my goal is to live life fully present in light of eternity. And I think that's a good approach to staying fully dialed in what truly matters. And what truly matters in that process is the decisions that you make. So every decision that you make, however small they are and what you think doesn't matter, it is a big deal, and it does matter because it's shaping who you are. When you make a summer workout and you don't sleep in when your buddies are, that's a decision that you made that's building and transforming who you are. And I want everyone in here to reflect on how you got here. You didn't get here because you were just talented. I'm sorry to say you ain't that talented. But you got here by making a lot of good decisions. You also got here by having a lot of coaches that were helping you make good decisions. So the other piece that I would tell you is you need to recognize the coaches in your life, whether that be here now or the mentors and your peers, they are going to transform you. And so you need to remember that, hey, you're being formed into something every day. And so it's on you to embrace the process of discipline, of hard work, of commitment, of loyalty to your brotherhood and your teammates. That's going to take you a lot further than you ever could expect. In this, I want to highlight just real quick about stewardship, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. Because the majority of you guys, I'm assuming, are getting later in your high school careers. And you got a lot of young guys that are coming up under you. You need to try to help them reach their full potential as well. That's on you. That's leadership. It's like, think about somebody else and how they're being formed, and are they having a positive experience by being formed in your influence or somebody else's? I know there's something funny going on over here. I'm having a good time with y'all guys. Hey, don't be static. I love this. I love that y'all are going to yell at each other after. Hey, this is casual. We ain't got to be serious. It's all right. Just recognize you're never going to be static. Hey, you're always in a river and it's always flowing. And you just got to recognize that's life. So be formed into something that you want to reflect on and have a lot of pride in the process. Pursue your best. Compare yourself to your potential and not your peers. There's a lot of folks in this room that you can look around at different schools. You're probably watching the plays, and it's easy to compare yourself right now to the plays that are being made on the screen. But the play that's being made on the screen might not be your best, so don't hold yourself to it. But then as you get and become a leader, when you transition from, hey, it's that realization that it's not about them, it's about you and your performance of internal. Leadership is all about somebody else. It's not about you now, it's about somebody else. How am I making them their best? And so that'll be that transition that you'll hopefully have as you roll into a leadership role, and you don't know when that's going to happen. Results don't define you. Remember that. And the last point that I'm going to make is about relationships. And I just want to say to value the relationship over the reward. And we're about to hand these things out over here. These things, they're awesome and they're recognition of your hard work and dedication. But more importantly, you got a lot of teammates that aren't represented here. And you got a lot of relationships that help get you here. Just remember to value the relationship more than the reward. And that will serve you well. Relationships are lasting. Rewards are fleeting. None of you guys knew any of the rewards that I got, and I stacked them up in high school, right? So that's just, keep that in perspective. that it's fleeting. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." And I like that Ron mentioned it, but hey, build your brotherhood. It is about a brotherhood, and the teammates that you have now, they're going to help you through life, and you need to lean on it. And ultimately, God designed us for relationships, and I think that's our closest goal in satisfaction is going to have those healthy relationships that breathe life into your life. And I just would encourage you to be a good friend, to serve others, and help others reach their full potential. Again, congratulations to you guys. I would enjoy this moment, reflect on the process that got you here, the people around you that helped you along the way. Know who you are and know what you believe and why you believe it. And be defined by your walk. Be committed to pursuing your best. And I'll say our community needs you, and we're thankful for you. And we look forward to your leadership as you guys transition out of something that we all love, high school football. But soon life is going to be right around the corner. So the community is highlighting you. They're expecting you to lead well, and we look forward to that. Ron, I just want to thank you for the opportunity and the invitation to get up here and have a moment to speak. And for everybody in the room, thank you for the time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate it.
Hey, this is Perry with Williamson's Bakery. We've been serving in Dublin, Lawrence County since 1965. At Williamson's Bakery, we put a little extra love in everything we make. Check us out on Facebook, or you can call us at 272-3344. Better yet, just come get you some. We're located at 1634 Veterans Boulevard.
Hey, it's Stephanie again here at Shamrock Honda Kawasaki CF Motos, and I wanted to tell you about our CF Moto 4x4s. Perfect to get you in the deer stand or in your deer blind, and excellent once you kill that big buck to get it out of the woods. We have them in a variety of colors, including camouflage, emerald green, and reds. Come see us today for our full lineup of CF Moto 4x4s at 106 Savannah Avenue, East Dublin, Georgia. 478-272-4563.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. As the #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right all year round. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $2,500.
Products you can count on, a name you can trust. That's Midstate Tractor and Equipment.
Hi, I'm Tom Dominy. Here at Dublin Wind Nelson, we pride ourselves on providing the industry's highest quality products at the most competitive pricing. We are a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry, and we can answer your questions and help you get the parts and equipment you need. From mowing to Renee, we carry the plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products you need from the brands you trust. We also carry a great lineup of Milwaukee tools. At Dublin Wind Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment, doing things right, one customer at a time. If you have a question, or if you're looking for a hard-to-find part, give us a call. Our experts are ready to help. Order online, give us a call, or come by at 507 Airport Road in Dublin. We're committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day.